see those beautiful either burgundy or dark pink apples standing out amongst the green leaves, and you go, oh my gosh, I just want to pick you off and eat you. It's fantastic.
This is The Producers. I'm Dani Valent. West Australian apple grower Ann Lyster is also the chairperson of Fruit West Co-operative. She didn't start life as a farmer, but she finds it extraordinarily satisfying, rich and diverse. Not only is there the satisfaction of feeding people, there are also the challenges and learning opportunities of everything from soil to marketing to intellectual property.
My name is Ann Lyster. I am an orchardist from Manjimup in Western Australia. My farm's name is Lyster Orchards, but I'm also the chairperson of Fruit West Co-operative in Western Australia. The great thing about farming is you actually do get to understand and see the seasons. It's really fabulous. So at the moment, we're in the winter season, which is the pruning season for apple trees. The apple trees are going dormant. We're hoping that they're accumulating a whole lot of winter chill. So as once the springtime comes and the season breaks, we get a really nice flush of flowers all out at the same time, so as we can manage that to actually try and achieve the best outcome 5 months down the track, which is when we're actually picking the apples off the tree to get them to the consumers.
Ann Lyster's farm is in West Australia's Southern Forest region, surrounded by forests and dotted with a patchwork of farmland. Her orchard is small when compared to other farms, and it's close to the coast, which impacts the climate and ensures very clean air.
My farm is just a small farm. We only have 10 hectares of apples. That equates to about 27,000 apple trees. Each of those apple trees has to be nurtured, fertilised, pruned, thinned, and then picked. Obviously irrigated, most important thing, irrigation as well, on an annual basis. So it's an annual cycle that we go through, and each apple that you eat has taken, obviously, from September through to between February and June to actually mature and be ready for consumers. Manjimup, I think is a very, very beautiful. It's in the middle of the Karri forest. We call it the Southern Forest region in Western Australia. So there's towering Karri trees, red gum trees, and beautiful patchwork of farmland. The shire that we are in, there's only really about 17% of the shire cleared for obviously farming and towns. In Manjimup and Pemberton region, we're only about 40 kilometres from the coast. So in some respects, bit of a maritime type environment. And I always tell people that I think it's really important that the prevailing winds come over no polluting land whatsoever. I think it's a fabulous, pristine environment to grow food.
Ann is a city girl with a whole life and career before she got into farming. Apple farming has been a retirement plan, but that's not quite how it's worked out.
I grew up in the city. I was a city girl. I became a nurse. I travelled. I came home from overseas in my mid-20s and married a boy from the bush who was a farmer but was also a teacher. He taught for a number of years and I nursed for a number of years. And then we took the opportunity to manage a couple of large operations. And in the last 15 years, decided that we would retire and build our own little place. That was supposed to be a hobby, but became a bit more than a hobby.
Nurse to farmer is quite a transition. How has it worked out for Ann?
The transition, I love it, absolutely love it. I mean, it I just think farming is one of the most honest things you can do in life, to actually grow food, to provide for people to eat. You have a huge responsibility because you've got to produce food in a way that's safe for people to eat, that actually tastes really good, which is something that I think is so important. You actually have to produce food that tastes really good. And also you have to grow it in a way that's sustainable going forward. So as when passed away, there are other people that can come behind, and I haven't damaged this land. I have left it as good or better than when I found it.
Apples ain't apples. Anne talks about her priorities when choosing what to grow.
So it's really important to find a variety of apple that has been bred to taste good. As we know, sometimes things are bred for shelf life, but it's also important when you're growing apples that you actually, number one, it has to taste good. Number two, it has to be, growers have to be able to grow it successfully. Number three, it has to be able to be marketed successfully also. I grow lots of varieties of apples. I was lucky enough to be around when the Pink Lady, which was bred in Western Australia, just down the road at the Horticultural Research Station in Manjimup. The work on the actual breeding and commercial release was done from down here. So I was there in the beginning. When Pink Lady came along, it was a distinctly different apple. It distinctly different colour, and it tasted different to other apples that were around at the time. I grow lots of other apples as well, Dani. I grow, so I start off with gala apples. I then go on to Kanzi, which is another variety. I grow a few Fuji apples. I grow Granny Smith. I grow Barvo. And at the end of the season, we have all our Pink Lady variety of apples. All of them have a place. And in fact, starting with galas, it gives you an opportunity to be able to have different apples along the way. So number one, you can keep your pickers. You hope to be able to have enough to keep your pickers going for a full season. So as they get experienced in picking apples and pick in the way that you want them to pick. The other thing is that you can have a marketing program, from the beginning of February, mid to late February onwards.
The Bravo apple is a standout breed developed in the Manjimup area. Anne explains what's gone into this dark, crisp, snowy-fleshed and crucially delicious apple.
So the Bravo apple, Australian National Breeding Program #1 apple, which is grown out of the Manjimup Horticultural Research Station, was, I think, probably the original cross. Maybe was done 30, 40 years ago, but the selections have basically been promoted by a team at the research station. That team was led by a guy by the name of Steele Jacob, who kept bringing this apple for taste panels of growers to actually taste. And whilst doing the research to see that it's not going to be an apple that bruises really easily, or it has fatal flaws that are going to cause enormous problems to growers. And the growers in Western Australia went, wow, this is pretty amazing. It tastes amazing. It is very distinctly different with its dark burgundy colour and with the lovely lenticel star-like appearance. And so a group of growers got together and said, look, this one definitely has an opportunity. So the growers formed a cooperative in 2012, and in 2014, growers across Australia planted the very first. 2014, it was mainly West Australia that planted the first Bravo apples, ANAP 01 trees. That the fruit of those trees is called Bravo, which was really exciting. We saw, as a grower cooperative, for the first time, an opportunity for growers to be involved in commercialising a variety and being able to manage the trademark of that variety, not just for the benefit of the growers, but for the benefit of all within that chain, from growers to from nurseries to growers to pack houses to marketers. And so Fruit West Co-operative has a licence from the West Australian Agricultural Authority to manage those functions across Australia. The benefits of that is that as growers, we can have more influence in coordinating the rollout of fruit across Australia, and we don't go through the oversupply and undersupply. We have a better, more opportunity to control the supply into the market.
Farming can seem like a simple operation, but there's so much to it. Anne gives insights into the richness and complexity of agriculture.
It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. There's science, there's technology, there's gut feeling sometimes, Dani. There is marketing. There is law. There's so much that you actually have done. I have just been on a journey in the last 10 years, 12 years, learning about intellectual property, about trademarks, about protecting your trademark. I can't encourage enough young people to get involved in agriculture because there are so many exciting things you can do. Fair enough. Okay, there is the stuff that's hard work sometimes, and it's frustrating, and you have to deal with the elements, and you have to deal with disappointment on occasions because, we're dealing with a dynamic environment out there, and things don't always go exactly the way you want them to go. But by gosh, it's a good industry to be in. It's exciting stuff to actually, it can be quite challenging, but it's also exciting stuff once you start to understand. And I find it's going to keep me, it sounds dreadful, it's going to keep me alive, just being involved. It's fantastic. Yeah. But I guess the really important thing about farming is for growers, it has to be profitable, Dani. Now, it really has to be profitable. And I just see part of what we can be doing is to actually help growers also understand that some of the other stuff that once it leaves the farm gate, that's so important in them being profitable also. And hopefully with the Bravo Saluna program, we can be helping people, guiding people through. Oh, that sounds a bit. No, don't put that in. No, but it's our absolute intention to do everything from Fruit West Cooperative's perspective. It is our absolute intention to do everything possible that we can to make sure that at the end of the day, farmers can be profitable with this variety. sustainably profitable.
As satisfying as farming can be, there are real perils for those on the land. Anne talks about the sustainability of farming life.
The peril for growers is always that there's a huge oversupply of any product in the market, which crashes the price. Now, that might be good for some consumers in the short term, but it's not good for consumers in the long term, because growers go out of business, because you can only sustain that for a very short amount of time before it impacts on your ability to be able to continue to grow. I see our cooperative as having the opportunity to help growers be sustainable into the future by helping to understand and coordinate the marketing, not only within Australia, but in the export market as well.
Who better than an apple grower to share some favourite ways to eat apples? Anne tells us some of her favourite uses.
Apples on a snack cheese board, charcuterie plate are undervalued, especially with the Bravo now. You can put it on that plate and it's going to be lovely and crisp. It goes really well with cheese, and using it as a dip. I actually, when I have an oversupply, I dry them, and once they're dried for about 12 hours, I put them in the freezer and bring them out and put them on a tasting plate for people with cheese and so forth. And that's another delicious way to have apples. But I have a fresh apple with my lunch every single day. Slice it up and sit there and savour it. Obviously, I cook with it also, apples in cooking apple, those beautiful, delicious apple cakes that you can make. It can be, I use apples in lots and lots of stuff.
There's so much variety to life as an apple farmer. What does Anne love about what she does?
I love how it gives me an immense feeling of satisfaction when things turn out the way you have planned. It gives me I have moments when I'm very frustrated when they don't turn out the way they planned, but you have to then look at it and say, right, I am dealing with nature. I'm lucky to be out here and able to do this, so I have to accept what Mother Nature throws at me also. It looks quite stunning. I mean, it looks so good that you always want to take photos and go, oh my gosh, this looks just amazing. To see those beautiful either burgundy or dark pink apples standing out amongst the green leaves, and you go, oh my gosh, I just want to pick you off and eat you. It's fantastic. And I love hosting little children and even adult parents in the orchard around picking time, and just see the joy on their faces when they actually see the apples on the trees. And then they say, but can I pick one? Yes, go for it. And then they say, oh no, I should pick this one off the ground. And we, no, you're not allowed to pick them up off the ground. That's fallen there for a reason. Or a bird's pecked it and it's fallen on the ground. You're not allowed to eat those ones. You have to eat it off the trees. And it's lovely to see the joy on people's faces when they actually understand where their food's coming from.
From city nurse to country farmer, Ann Lyster finds enormous satisfaction in life as an apple grower. She's in nature, tied to the seasons, embedded in science and connected to community. Every day has a sense of purpose. This is The Producers, a Deep in the Weeds production. I'm Dani Valent. Stay tuned as we talk to some of Australia's best farmers, makers and growers. Follow us on Instagram at Producers Podcast or contact us via deepintheweeds.com.au.